Alright, so I do apologise, but we are confined to the old school driving whilst filming setup. I also took a class with no microphone, so my voice is kind of messed up, but I'll do my best to shout. So I wanted to continue off the topic of simplicity, because I think it's so important to recognise the feeling, the movement, the function of seeking, to recognise that movement in ourselves, be able to kind of identify it as uncomfortable. So not so much seeking that we're looking for. I mean, seeking is looking for something else. It's a stopping and noticing, realization, recognition, acceptance, letting go. Because it's this, it's not something else. It's not something else, it's not somewhere else in a different time, future, to be gained. You don't gain anything in this, it's more you just let go and accept this. Stop and just be. Just existence. Self-evident, self-confirming existence. There's no attainment. If there's an attainment, it's a backwards one. It's a releasing, a letting go of this identification from. And it's all belief. Belief in concepts, belief in ideas, belief in separation and self. Just stop, just be, complete simplicity. What we're looking for with the seeking is already here. It's too simple. So I think a big part of the spiritual path is kind of misleading, because it can be so easy to adopt a spiritual path and adopt a function of seeking and just redirect that function towards a spiritual context, to try and gain something, to try and attain something, to try and find happiness. What is it that's already here? What is it that's never left? Such a simple recognition. And I guess a big part of a misleading part of my videos is that I make it sound quite fantastic. I make it sound quite mind-blowing, and it maybe can be misheard as in a discovery of something new that is mind-blowing, that's incredible, that's a solution to something, that's a solution to this. But it's not like that. The mind-blowingness of it is here anyway, it's inherent. It's kind of like I noticed this movement that seems to be, so the simplicity of being, the simplicity of unqualified, unspecified existence, non-conceptual beingness, knowingness, awareness, oneness, that limitless, infinite this. I notice in myself a movement out from that, a separation back from that, And it's a very mind-based kind of energetic thing. The separation from this piece to a separate point of view, and then that point of view kind of moves forward into objective reality. And with this expansive recognition, let's say, it's very enjoyable, because the mind hits its limit. The mind hits its limit. It trying to comprehend the unknowable, and then it collapses back in. It dies in on itself again, and then that can come back again. It's that tendency of the universe to manifest as this separation, or to seemingly manifest as this the illusion of separation. But what was terrifying about it, where the suffering came from, was the belief in that as something inherently real. When the belief isn't there, when that recognition is expanded enough, when it's clear enough, that pattern of separation and dissolution, of birth and death, can play out just here like this. And all the existential fascination and questions and bizarreness of it can play out in a very enjoyable, peaceful way, without the clinging, without the identity, without the holding on to and the belief in. I hope that makes sense. So now when this function plays out, and it can't be caused really, it just kind of comes about on its own. When this function plays out, it's kind of like an old pattern of self and separation at a very fundamental level, the very basic fundamental duality of separation, of perspective, of observer. When that does come about now, I savour that mind-blowing quality of something finite trying to comprehend the infinite. And it's very mysterious, very enjoyable. But it's that belief that that thing is real, that it's going to find within its terms a solution to itself. And in doing that, it just creates more self. It's that question, what is the meaning of life? What is this? It creates itself. That's the birth of the self. The letting go of that question, or the answer of that question, is that it becomes obsolete. And then this fundamental duality, this self, just dies back into infinity. And throughout all of that, nothing really happened. Ultimately, nothing really happened. So, again, I've just went and made something sound fantastic and conceptual, but that wasn't the point of this video, was it? So simple. So that dying into nothingness, that letting go into infinity, is just a letting go. It requires no action, it requires no comprehension, no analysis, no understanding, none of that, no thought, no belief, no conclusion. It just is. It's this. So simple. And it's letting go, just letting this be how it is without having to change it, because that's impossible anyway. Just being as comfortable as possible with this, that's it. It's as simple as that. Because the thought, the belief, the seeking is all trying to stand back from, move away from, control, rationalize, contextualize this, which is impossible. so simple. All of that journey of the self, the separate self, the ego, is itself this? Is itself infinite, ultimate reality? Is the awakeness? Is the knowingness? Nothing can possibly, in your experience, be without the knowingness of it, without that pure awakeness, that pure presence, that pure awareness. That's it. That which holds all experience, that which is all experience, is it. It's so simple. It doesn't require figuring out. It doesn't require analysis. Doesn't require a goal. Doesn't require a movement. Requires nothing, because it is all of that. So to try and highlight that movement, that general feeling of unease, like I don't have it, I need to get it, that can just be recognized as a thought, a movement of the mind seeking a dissatisfaction or resistance to what already is. If you can just continue to recognize that for what it is, and then just let go, anything that pops up, might not even be an overt thought, it might just be a general unease, underlying feeling of there's something I need to get, there's something I haven't realized yet, somewhere else, because it's always somewhere else. Just dilate that, just notice it, let it go, completely let it go, and when it comes back, notice it and let it go. And every time that happens, that function loses a bit of its belief, a bit of its reality and power, and it thins. And as it thins, the infinite is revealed as just this, as it always is, as it always was, right now, here, present, awake. You're already awake. Your awakeness, pretending to have to find something to realize yourself, which you already are. It's an illusion. It's a movement away from what already is, but the illusion of that is that you can't move away from this. There's no away from. It's inescapable. There's no outside of, there's no somewhere else. It all just is infinitely this. Such simplicity. It's such a relief, because you can just let go of all that stuff. It can just be let go of completely. That's it. It's that simple. All these questions, what about this? What is the truest truth? Why do I feel like all these questions just can be let go of? Because the answer to all those questions is to let go of the question, to not have the question in the first place. Because it's the question that creates the belief in that there is an answer, that creates the resistance to what is already answered, never needed to be answered, because it's not a question. I think this is where moving into the senses can be very beneficial, because there's an obviousness and non-dual nature to the senses that's beyond conceptual. There's a clear knowingness in the senses that's so much more powerful than anything the mind can say about it. that's right here that you're experiencing all the time, that's accessible infinitely because it's always right here, and it's a constant awakeness that you can always become, let's say, although you don't become it because you are it anyway, but you can shift. Let's say it seems like you're shifting attention away from that mind, that narrative, that questioning, uncertain entity of thought, into this infinite undeniability of this in the senses. And compared to that, you'll see when the mind talks about it, the contrast between what is clearly this experience, this sensory reality, and then what the mind tries to say about it, what the mind suggests about it, the narrative that the mind continually tries to reinforce that makes this look a certain way, seem a certain way, but it's never a certain way. It's way too free to be confined by a way or a rule or a thought, and it's infinite. Moving directly into those senses is a good way to forget about the mind, forget about what the mind is saying, forget about the narrative and the belief, forget about the story and the me, the center point, and just get lost in the profound awakeness of the senses. And there's no doubt there, there's no suffering there, there's no confusion there. It's certain, it's undoubtable. It's beyond questions and concepts altogether. Sensation, sight, sound, the knowing of it is undeniable. The one thing that's certain about it is that it's known. It is knowing, it is aware, it is awareness. It is. It's present. Beingness, knowingness, awareness. Sometimes it's clearer, less slippery than thought, than the mind. The immediacy of it, the doubtlessness of it, and that can just be, you can just let go into that continually. Just let go into the senses, let go, just this, just being this, with nothing added, nothing more to get, to gain, to find. It's already done. It's just this, and it's already done. Anything else is a thought, anything else comes after. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Talk to you next time.